Yeah, good evening. Welcome, guys. Welcome. So let me know if you can hear me, please. If you can hear me, kindly press 111 on the chat box so I can know you can hear me. If you can hear me, kindly press 111 on the chat box so I can know so we can start right away. So we just wait for others. Then we kickstart the class proper. So if you can hear me, 111 on the. If you can hear me. Oh, great. So we are just eight on the call right now, so we should be more than that. So we'll be starting the class soon. So let us wait for others so that we can start the class proper. So it's nice having everyone here. Welcome. I can see a lot of people. I can see Gloria. I can see Jeremiah. I can see my guy, Mr. Felix. I can see Gabriel Bashola, Oluni. I can see Gabriel Kola. I can see a lot of people here. Um, so so let us just enjoy us. Let us sit back. I believe tonight's class is going to be an eye opener, and we are going to learn a lot about design. So it's going to be a massive class. So let us go to the WhatsApp group and let them know that we've started already, because once it is 8:08, we kickstart the class proper. We are not waiting for anybody. Yeah, because they ought to be here. So once it's 8:08, we start the class proper. So um oh, somebody is just joining on the WhatsApp group. Let me send the Telegram link to the person. Yep. So I think tonight's going to be a wonderful one. Last week, can somebody just unmute? And somebody that was here on Saturday, can that person just unmute and tell us how the experience was? If there is anybody that was here on Saturday. Hello. Hello. Wow. So nobody was here on Saturday to give us the experience. No, just generally okay. Just unmute and tell us how the experience was. I want to hear your voice. Just unmute your mic and tell us how it was. It was a nice one, but let me just hear from you.
Okay, so good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, yeah. So last week the experience was dope. It was very much full of value, and we were able to like just discuss the things that we should know before we actually go into design. But the part for me was basically this few points that he gave us, and the part of the point for me basically is the part where you spoke about staying on your lane, and as a designer you just have to know what you want, know what your interests are, and know what your niche is. And also, there's no offense in trying out other niches, but you must have your own particular niche that you're known for. But generally, it was full of knowledge, and I gained a lot.
Whoa! Thank you so much. That was mind blowing. I just want to be doing but then it's okay. So I think it's 8:08 already. So let me just give me a minute. I'll be back. Just a minute, I'll be back, please. Yeah, yeah, I'm back. Before we start, I just want you to pick up your pens or anything anything you are using to take notes. Just pick up your pen because tonight we'll be going fully into the theoretical part of design. Sorry, I'm meeting. We'll be going into the full part, the theoretical part of design because I one of the things I've noticed is that most designers get it wrong um, at this junction because most of them think when they want to launch into design, the first thing they want to start creating beautiful designs. They want to start making money, and they want people to start knowing them, which is not the first thing to actually start with as a designer. You have to know the basics. You have to know what it is. You have to know what it takes. You have to know the in depth of what you are entering before you start taking out of that system. Because if you want to take out of a system, you have to understand that system first. Do you get? If you want to take out of any system, you have to understand how the system works. You have to know the in and out of the system. You have to know how to maneuver your ways in the system. You have to know um, the A to Z about the system. If not A to Z, you have to know about up to 70 or 80% about the system before you can fairly take out of the system. Fairly, I mean, you quote me fairly because yeah, you can take out of the system in some other ways that are not fair. But then, before you can take out of the system, you have to know the in and out about the system. Do you get? So tonight I'll be taking us on our course outline we have about how many things, like about four things that we'll be doing tonight. We have what is design, type of designs, principles guiding designs. We have the color theory and the typography. Tonight, I won't be spoon feeding us in this session. Like, I don't want to just be spoon feeding us, like giving us all the details, because I want to know if you are actually following the class. Because who is this, Baba? Please off your camera. Please, can you hear me, please?
We can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Please, off your camera, please. We actually don't need to see you, please.
My
We don't need
camera
to see
is
you.
off.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So tonight, so somebody is still on his camera. I don't know. Theophilus, please kindly off your camera. We don't need to see you. I might be forced to. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So I said I won't be spoon feeding us throughout the course of this class because one of the feedback we got from our survey was that people don't actually value free classes. People don't actually value, and which is very true. And one of the ways that we think we can make this valuable is to actually make you do some research, do some assignment, do some work. So at the end of tonight, you'll be doing some work, you'll be doing some assignment, which will be submitted before the next class. Yeah, it is. Someone will tell me it is rigorous. I know you have work to do. I know you have a lot of things to do, but then you have to be involved in this class sincerely. You have to be involved because um, it's just necessary for you because I really want to help you get better as a designer. So tonight I'll be sharing my screen. I'll be sharing my screen so we can start from the slides. So I welcome you all again. I welcome you all. I welcome everybody. I might not be able to mention everybody's name, but then we had some kind of chit chat when we started this class. So I was able to get feedback from one of us telling us what we did on Saturday, and though Saturday the network did us bad on Saturday, which was which was not. I did not like it. I was feeling bad because I did not plan for that. So let me share my screen now, so you can start pop up. Please take notes. Take notes. Like anything you are using to take note, either your notepads, your phone, anything. Please take notes. Take notes, please. It is very important that you take note. This is actually me. This might be the only theoretical part of design that we'll be doing throughout the whole class. So this is very important. It's important for me. It's important for you. It's important for everyone that is attending this class tonight. So I want you to take notes tonight. Do you get? It's for your good, so that you can actually make reference. Though the class might be made available sometime soon, but then please, before the class is made available online or something, please, you might need to reference some things, and I might not be available to to tell you those things. So you need to actually get your notes. I might share a bit of story. I love story, so I might share a bit of story uh, during this session, but I don't know yet. Yeah, I posted some things. Who's that? Please kindly mute yourself, please. Kindly mute yourself, please. Please let us mute ourselves. We cannot, how do I say this now? We all can't be speaking at the same time, understand? So we all can't be speaking at the same time. So uh, we all have to listen to one person at a time. So I'm trying to share my screen. Yep, it's up. My screen is up. Can you see my screen? You can see my screen. Just press 222 on the chat box so I can know you can see my screen. So let me know if you can see my screen. Just press 222. Wow, people are seeing my screen. Nice. So thank you. So we are going into the class proper, which is I'm really happy doing this because I'm really happy doing this tonight. So it's something that gives me joy anytime I have the opportunity to tell people about design. I'm very happy doing it anytime I have the opportunity to teach about design. Though I've taught design on several platforms before, one-on-one classes and all those things, but this is my first personal classes teaching people on my own platform. So first of all, what is graphic design? This might look like, okay, what is graphic design? This might not actually look like something you want to rush into an answer, but then I will give you a basic definition, a definition that works anytime, anywhere, any day. Basic. So it is very simple. So for your information, you are not writing the exam, so don't think like you have to memorize it. But because I've been able to practice design for over 5 years, now professionally, so I don't need to memorize this design. When I was preparing my slides, I did not need to actually go and look for a reference in a book before I come up with the definition, because this is something I've done over and over again. So it's part of me. So what is graphic design? So graphic design is an act of communication using appropriate visual elements and principles. Graphic design is an art of communication using appropriate visual elements and principles. So take note of two things here. We have visual elements and we have visual principles. To the extent that these principles are obeyed even in the creation of man. When man was created, these principles were in line. They were actually in line. God actually make it in a way that those principles are obeyed. Those things are part of our being. Those principles are part of how we create things, how we see things, how we relate with things around us. Do you get? Those things are part of us. Those principles are very key. So, and the visual element too. So the design is just a way whereby you communicate using elements, using some visual element and principles. And those visual elements are things that I will be telling us about tonight. and the principles. I'll be telling us about the principles. I'll be explaining them in details. Like I'll be explaining what they really entails. Do you get? So at the point, oh, Theophilus, that would be a network because it's not skipping. I don't think it's skipping from my end here. So let me continue. So graphic design is an art of communication using appropriate visual element and principles. So you ask me, who is a graphic designer? A graphic designer is somebody that communicates using visual element and principles. Like this person is a communicator. It's not just somebody that drag pixels on design softwares. It's not somebody that just creates flyers on Photoshop or Illustrator or any other softwares. There are so many softwares that you can use to make designs, but they were measuring of Photoshop and Illustrator. So I've used other ones. I've used CorelDRAW before, but then I have to transition. So it's not because of anything, but that's I found it. I found Photoshop and Illustrator very handy for me, and it's helped me relate better. I get resources for them easily than CorelDRAW. You get there are there are resources online more for Photoshop than CorelDRAW. So and if you plan to work with people beyond your reach, you will actually be considering learning Photoshop because not everybody actually use CorelDRAW, and especially if you are working with um people abroad, and you want to learn Photoshop because most of them are used to Photoshop. The next things will be going to the visuals element. Uh, oh, sorry, the type of graphics. Yeah, somebody asked a question on Saturday that what is the difference between Photoshop and Illustrator. So I think if that person is online tonight, you'll be getting your answer tonight. If you're online, you'll be getting the answer to that question right here. So we have two type of graphics. Yeah, we have the vector graphics and we have the raster graphics, right? We have the vector graphics and we have the raster graphics. Yeah, I will tell you the difference between vector graphics and raster graphics. So it's not like so if we have two type of graphics, that means we need two type of softwares to make graphics. Basically, we have two type of softwares. We have the vector-based softwares and we have the raster-based softwares. And the raster-based software is Photoshop, while the vector-based software is what? Is the Illustrator. Yeah, they're all like CorelDRAW, for example. We are not doing that. Is a vector-based software. Yeah, but the thing is, based on people's manipulation, people's ways of doing things, you can actually use either of the two softwares to make any. You can use vector softwares to make raster graphics. Yeah, but it is very rare to make vector graphics with the raster software. So please just give me just like 1 minute. I'll be back, please. 1 minute. I'll be back, please. Thank you so much. I'll be back. So I'll be back, please. Apologies. I have to just attend to something now. Thank you. Yeah, welcome. So sorry. Apologies for that break. Apologies. I apologize. Please, if your mic is on, please kindly mute yourself. Please, I will be forced to mute you if you don't mute yourself. Thank you. So we have two type of. I've explained that the vector graphics and the raster graphics. So I've explained the type of softwares um, that we have. So we have the vector-based softwares and then we have the raster-based softwares. I think you get that. So I will be telling you what a vector graphics is. So vector graphics. Sorry. Let me go to the raster graphics first. So sorry, so sorry. So so yeah, so sorry. I had to actually hold on. So I said I want to tell us what raster graphics are. So raster graphics are digital images made up of small pixel. So when I'm talking about pixel, so I will, I'm very sorry that I don't have the example here, but I will try to send that to the platform and tell you what and show you by example, by image, what a raster graphics look like what a pixel is. So each pixel contains a specific color and location. So raster images are resolution dependent, which means that if your resolution is they are resolution dependent in the sense that they work based on resolution. If you ever if I know most of us have used some phones like Express Music, from Nokia phones like that. If you compare their images to our present smartphones, you see that they are quite different because of the resolutions of the cameras. And those images are made up of pixels. The higher the the higher the megapixels of your camera, the sharper and the bigger the resolution of your images. Do you get? So that's basically what raster graphics are. So raster graphics are resolution dependent. So you can just do further research on this, but I'll actually make sure I send in an example of what pixels look like. So all these designs that we have, all our pictures, they are rasters, like they are because they are resolution based. You see that over time, if you send some pictures over time on WhatsApp, they begin to drop quality because those pictures are raster graphics. So they contain pixels. So they have to over time, if you send them over internet over time, they begin to reduce in quality because of the resolution. Because internet reduce their resolution, Facebook reduce the resolution, WhatsApp reduce the resolution. So I will go back to vector graphics. Vector graphics, on the other hand, are created using mathematical equation. Please just ignore that mathematical equation or whatsoever. The basic thing you want to look in here is that they are based on lines and shapes. They are resolution independent. That means they are not dependent on the resolution. They are not pixels. They are just quite opposite, the opposite of rasters. They are opposite of rasters. Vectors are opposite of rasters. So they don't need resolutions. So you can zoom them to infinity and they will not lose quality. If you start zooming a vector graphics, you can zoom them to infinity and the quality of that graphics will still remain the same and intact. Do you get? So if you are with me, just go to the chat box and press 333. So this is just to let you know that to let me know that you are with me. So if you are with me and you can hear me very loud and clear, just go to the chat box and press 333. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So thank you so much. So we'll be going to the elements of design. The elements of design. So in my definition of design, graphic design earlier, I said graphic design is an act of communication using visual elements and principles for communication. Like the act of communication using visual elements and right principles. And so what are the elements we're talking about? What are the elements that we are talking about in designs? Like what are those elements you have to you have to work with? So we have five basic elements in design. Five basic elements in design. For you to say, okay, I have a design, for you to say I've made a design, for you to say, okay, I've come up with a design now, you have to have these five elements in your designs, like mostly five of these elements. Though maybe sometimes four or five, sometimes all in a design. Yeah. Because you can't say you have a design without color. You can't tell me you have a design without text. It's like what's that's a mistake. I'm so sorry. So you can't say you have a shape. You can't tell me you have a design without the use of shapes, lines, and the rest. And texture is very important. Somebody like me, I am very high on texture. Like I love using texture on my designs. Like it actually if anybody study my designs will know that you will see that texture is I don't play with it. I don't play with my texture. So it's very because it actually give me a feel like okay, my design is it give me one kind of feel and I love the feel. So it has to be my design. So so I'll be so basically I'll be talking briefly on this element one after the other before going to the principles. So the principle is where we will spend the major of our time. Then I will go to the I'll briefly tell us color about color theory and tell us about typography. Yeah, though I don't have the slides of color theory and typography here because they are meant to be an assignment for us, and we should be submitting that before the end of tomorrow. But then I'll be giving us a brief introduction about what color theory is and what typography is. So I believe, see, if a designer is equipped with this to make it to uh, these are things that we guide. These are things that will guide you in everything you are doing as a designer. If you understand this element, if you understand how these elements work with each other, if you understand how color work with text, if you understand how shapes work with texture, if you understand how all these elements work hand in hand, sincerely, you won't have any issue as a designer. Sincerely, you won't have any issue as a designer. Um, so what is color? Color is basically talking about light. Anywhere you see color, it's basically talking about. So somebody is speaking. Please, can you kindly mute your mic, please? So I might have to, if I find you, I might have to mute you from this place myself. Yeah, I've seen you. You are muted. No, who is this? Please, to make this easier for us, kindly just mute your mic as you join the call. Kindly mute your mic. It's so important. So so I said I'll be anytime you see color, we are talking about light. We are talking about how light works. And when we're talking about light, we're talking about um the seven colors, like the seven basic colors. Most of us that did physics here, we understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the light refractions, talking about the dispersion of light waves and all those things. So when a white light is dispersed, so we have seven colors, which are the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and indigo. Yeah, so that's like the seven colors that made up a white light. So this person is disturbing. Please, I can't find this person. Kindly mute yourself, please. If this is disturbing, this is disturbing. Thank you. So so color you're talking about the color wheels. You're talking about there are some terms in colors too. There are some terms I'll be giving you those terms, but then I won't be giving you out in full. So I'll be giving you. I know many people are on this call right now, so I'll be expecting this number of people to submit, like, okay, give me a brief about what they've read about all these things at the end of the class. So so I'll talk. Next thing is talking about the text. So anytime we're talking about text, what comes to your mind is the alphabet, talking about how the element of design now is text, right? The element of design here now is text. So it's text. So all these things here, the color, text, color, they are text. So all these things are text, and they text also have their terms in text, their type of typography, they have families and those things. So we're talking about shapes. So we all know shapes right from our primary school days. We all know these shapes. We have three-sided shapes. We have four-sided shapes. Of a thing, how something feel. Yeah, how something feels like your body now. The texture of a skin is different from the texture um of a tree. Like those things have their texture, that's how they feel. And because though in design, maybe if you are working majorly with print, yeah, you might have to feel texture, paper texture. But looking at a design, you can easily say, okay, this design has a particular texture. Like you can feel with your eyes. So as a designer, you have to learn how to. I mentioned on Saturday that as a designer, you have to learn to have an eye for detail. Like you have to be very keen to details. You have to look out for details in color, in text, in shapes and texture. You have to look out for details. You have to be very keen on getting the details from anything that has to do with design. So you have to learn that it's you can learn it. And how can you learn all those things? How can you learn to look out for details? Is by studying other people's work, studying other people's design, looking at what they've done, looking at what other people have done. So I let me tell you something. If you cannot study other people's work, it is very hard for you to come up with your own. If you cannot, if you find it difficult to look at what other people have done before, because basically nobody is doing anything new. You get, so people are just modifying what has been. People are just modifying what has been in existence, modifying it, creating their own concept, creating their own style. Yeah. So, but as an upcoming designer, as someone that is just starting up as a designer, you might not want to create your own style as like that. But then you have to study other people. Why study other people? Why copying other people? Creatively copying other people, not just blindly copying. Creatively copying other people. You can easily come up with your own concept. Somebody like me now, if you study my work well, you will actually see my style of work. You will see, okay, this is how real one work. Yeah, this is how. Yeah, I'll be showing you to my processes, my design processes. That will be maybe tomorrow or so. Yeah, that will maybe tomorrow. I'll be showing you my creative processes, how I do my designs live, how I source for elements, how I come up with concept, how I do all those things. Yeah, it might be stressful, but then it's something that we have to do. So so that's that. So if you want to have an eye for detail, learn to um creatively copy other people's work, learn to creatively see how people do their designs. One of the things that helped me grow faster as a designer is I I before I start any project then I will go online. So let's assume I want to work on a church flyer. I will go online and type church flyer samples. Church flyer samples. So I see multitude of church flyers, like, and you almost go blind seeing a lot of designs. You see good ones. Somebody is Please, I'm hearing feedback from somebody. You see good designs, you see bad designs, but then you know good designs because you understand the principles. Please, somebody is talking. Please just help us. See, good designs by looking at the principles, how well they apply the principles. You get. So that's how you know a good design. You know a good design by looking at, okay, how well does this designer apply the principle of design? Do you get how well does he or she apply the principle of design? So that's how you know, and how well does he or she uses her elements. But how will you know a good design without first knowing a bad design? So you have to know a bad design. What does a bad design mean? A bad design is actually a design that does not obey the principles of design. So we are still going to the principles and does not use the element the right way they should be used. Hello. So that's basically how you identify a bad design. But then we are still going to the principles of design. So can somebody tell him that he cannot hear? I'm not hearing again. Please, can somebody confirm that? If you can hear me, kindly comment on the chat box, please. If you can hear me. Okay, that means it's from the person's end. It's from the person's end. So let's just move on. So I think you should find the I hope he finds a way to get that done. So we are going to we are moving to the principles of designs. Principles of design. So this is very, very amazing. So if you can master these things, if you can master this is it seven now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are more than seven. There are more than seven, but these are the basic ones we need to know. These are the basics one. These are the basic one we need to understand. If you understand this seven, see, sorry, sky is the limit. Yeah, sky is the limit because you can manipulate any design, you can manipulate any work if you understand these seven principles. You get so that's that. So we'll be taking this principle one after the other: balance, contrast, emphasis, proportion, unity, repetition, and white space. See, this thing at every point, I intentionally not put um how their illustrations in my slide because I want you to do an assignment. In doing an assignment, you get to know it better. In researching these things, you get to know it better. That's how I know you are involved. If if I'm just teaching you and I have nothing to gain in this class, sincerely. If I'm just teaching you and at the end of the day, I'm just talking to you and I don't have any feedback from you that you understood what I taught, then I gained nothing. My only gain here is that in the next 2 months, 3 months, you are doing amazing designs and you are creating designs that is blowing everywhere up. That's my gain. Do you get? That's my gain from this class. So, but I want you to actually list these things. Go online. What is how does balance? I will actually tell you how these things work. But then search more about these things. These are things that actually help me get better too. I don't have access to all these things when I started in 20 is it 2015, 2016? I had no access to it. There are some people on this call that knew me when I started design. Yeah, that knew actually when that knew how I was growing, that knew how. So there's somebody on this call. His name is Bulu. His brother actually got me my first major design. Should I call it gig now? Because it was not gig majorly because I was not paid like that, but I got paid in other way. I got paid in getting to know new people. So his brother Toby got me my first design gig that actually exposed me to the design world. So I'm giving a shout out to Toby on this call tonight. He actually I anytime I'm talking about my design journey. I mentioned it because God used him to actually open me up to design work because he was one that mentioned my name to a magazine brand that actually exposed me to design today. Because if not for that moment, I might not be here today telling you about what design is. I'm giving a shout out to Toby for that amazing opportunity. So we're starting out. So talking about balance. The first thing we'll be talking about tonight is balance. So, yeah, Sam Magazine guys, well done, Bulu. Thank you. So, the first one is balance. So the magazine brand I worked on their 5 editions. There are 5 editions. I think anytime I have the time, I will post the 5 editions I worked on. You will see the progress in the designs. You will see how I made my progress. The next editions, okay, you have them. You can send them to the group, please. But you can send it to the group. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. You can send it to the group. Yeah. So each editions are development of the previous ones. So these are because I've actually take my time to learn and learn these basic things. Learn these basic things. Thank you, Bulu. Learn these basic things. So the next one is the first principle we'll be talking about tonight is balance. Balance. So I will be reading from here. So achieving visual balance in design involve distributing elements within the design in a way that creates a sense of equilibrium. Equilibrium actually means is another word for balance. In equilibrium actually means when two or more things are in relation to each other, the balance in relation to each other. So balance can be symmetrical, asymmetrical, depending on designer goal. So let me explain what asymmetrical and symmetrical is. Let me tell you, intentionally, I did not put the illustration here so that you can actually go online, search for what these things are. So by tomorrow, by maybe tomorrow morning, I'm getting flooded with answers from you. So I'll be very happy getting those answers. That's something that's something that will make me happy tomorrow. I believe. Though I'm happy always, but then that will make me more happy. So this is when we're talking about asymmetrical. Uh, I think asymmetrical is from up to down, up to down, asymmetrical, up to down. I'm talking about symmetrical. So let me confirm so that I'm not blowing things up. Oh. Let me confirm, please. Oh, yeah, asymmetrical. Oh, I'm coming. Let me just confirm so I'm not blowing things up. Some minutes, please. Okay. Yeah. So up from down, symmetrical means from that asymmetrical means you are dissecting something from the center up down. Imagine a human being. So I'll be using human being as example because human being is a perfect creation of God that God created that is balanced in all form. God created the eye is not bigger in proportion than how it should be. The ear is not bigger in proportion than how it should. So though we might have some rare cases where we have individuals that add some part of the body bigger than that's that's left that God did that. So I'm not but then in a normal case, human being is a balanced creation. Like in every part, we are so balanced. So imagine a man is being dissected from head to down. Do you get head to down? So head to down. So that's asymmetrical. Symmetrical means like cutting something from the center so that you have the down part and the up part. That's what balance. So in design, so balance help us. You have to as a designer, you have to learn to curate balance in your designs, whereby each element in your designs are in balance with each other. An element is not bigger than each other, and an element is not showing that it is not popping up more than it should pop up. So every element in design is given in their right proportion. That's what balance is talking about. Whereby your text is taking the right proportion, your color is taking the right proportion, your texture is in the right place, everything is fixed in the right place, and you are using and you maintain a balance in your arrangement and all those things. So that's what balance is. If you understand balance, how balance, anytime you are designing and you are confused, look at human being. That okay, the eye is not too big. Let's assuming the eye is the size of the head. How will human being look like? We just look like something that you cannot describe. Do you get? So the eyes is in a pop. So anytime you are designing, that you are tempted to increase an element than the way it should be, consider the body, the human body. So what if the ear is bigger? Is this element necessary to be bigger or to be more pronounced than the way it is now? Those are the questions you should ask yourself anytime you are working on design. Does this element, does it need to be pronounced more than the way it is now? Or is it okay in respect to other elements? Do you get? So how do you know these things? You know these things by looking at other people's work. How does this person create balance in his work? How does he achieve balance? How does he achieve visual balance in his work? So I'll use an example now. You can easily, if I bring out if I bring out two transparent cup and I pour water in one and one is empty without water, you can easily tell me the one that is more weightier than the other. Which one is more weightier? Without weighing them on scale on balances, you can easily tell me just using your eye, just using your eye to judge. Okay, the one with water is more heavier than the one without water. That's just visual. So you can see things while designing. So this thing is more bigger. This thing has more weight than this. Just using your eyes, because a designer is somebody that communicates with visual elements. So you are communicating, and if a mistake in any of the elements will mean that you are miscommunicating something. If you made a mistake and in representing an idea. A designer is somebody that represents an idea, create a visual representation of an idea. That's what a designer is. So you have to learn to balance all these elements the right way. So how do you do that? You have to look at other people's work, not copy them, not blindly copy. Okay, how does this person study designs? Because you can't be a medical doctor without first working on cadaver. You can't be a mechanic without first working on somebody else's vehicle. You can't be a photographer without first taking some practice shots. Do you get? So you might have done your study, you might have studied, you might have make your research. So before starting any work, the first thing you do is not that you just go to the software and start making designs. You can see that we are not starting off with the softwares first. So we have to understand these basics, because in understanding these basics is what will make you that informed photographer, that informed designer that you wish to become. I know some of us has been doing designs one way or the other, and something prompted you to be in this class. Maybe because you needed something in your design journey. But then, so this is something that we have to take note. Balance is very important. So, I believe my talk is not boring. It's not bored to you. So I believe you are learning from what I'm saying. So if you are with me, kindly press 444 in the chat box so I can know you are with me. So as we go to the next point, which is contrast. So if you are with me, kindly press 444. Oh, nice, 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 nice. So I know you are with me. I know you are with me. So the next one is contrast. Contrast. You might have heard of contrast before. You might have one way or the other used it in words. You might have one way or the other talked about contrast. So this is it. So what does contrast means? Contrast refers to the difference between elements in a design, contrasting colors, contrasting shapes, and contrasting textures can be used to create visual interest and help certain elements stand out. Mm. So the contrast is if you want to understand contrast better, just like talking about black and white. So black and white are contrast color. Black means absence of light. White means presence of light. So that's just the basic example of what contrast classes. So and contrast in design. So when you are working in the design, you don't just use one element that will just fool everywhere. That's one of the things that spoil many people design. So you just use one element, you just use one color like that, you just use everything like that without any other contrasting elements to balance things up. Shey you get. So contrast is very, very important anytime you are making your designs. You have to learn to so and we'll be working on we still these contrasting colors shades, we'll be working on them. So we'll be having time to practice. So that's my main focus. Practice. Get this theory part done tonight. Then we'll move to practice starting from tomorrow. So it's not going to be an easy class. I'm not promising you that everything will be easy. Do you get? So I'm promising that I will spoon feed you with all the details. I'm just telling you a lie. Yeah, I will teach you what I know, but then I will not spoon feed you that okay, this how. So you to do your research. I will recommend materials. I will recommend videos that you can watch to broaden your knowledge about these things. So that's what contrast is. Contrast is just like in a simple way, black and white. If you are using black in your design, try to put white in some places. You see my slide. My slide is just a clear example of what contrast is. I did not just use white all through. I did not just use black all through. So you get, I use other colors to balance things so that it can be interesting for people that are looking at it, so that I can easily know what the main idea is. See, let's assume I put everything in the same way, you will find it difficult to know what the main point is. But because I've actually put contrast to them, so you can easily say, okay, contrast is the one with contrast is the main point we are talking about. Okay, other things below it are what I explain what contrast means. So you can easily see even from the slide I'm presenting. So that's how design should look like. Design should not just look like one-way traffic. Everything look the same way. No, it will be difficult for people to get what you are communicating. Don't forget, you are a communicator. You are a master communicator. You are communicating an idea to people. You are selling something to people because as a designer, you'll be helping brands, you'll be helping your own business, you'll be helping other people create, turn their ideas to visual designs that will help them convert sales, that will help them make money, that will help them bring people to their events. You get, that's what you are. Imagine, I think there was an online business some time ago that I did not do. I did not get involved in because of the design these people put out. And over time, the business was not what it is. Because the design they put out was so quack that I feel like, okay, if this business is what it is, then they should not be using this type of design. Do you get? So that's how important a design can be to a brand, to a business. Do you get? So that's why as a designer, you have to learn to use all these principles and elements right so that you will not misrepresent somebody else's business. You will not misrepresent somebody else's idea, and that can cost them a lot of money. So the next thing, we'll be moving to the next principle, which is emphasis. Emphasis. Okay. Um, Permit me. I want to check something. Oh, okay, thanks. So I want to check if I'm still recording. So emphasis. So let me read what I have here. Emphasis involves creating a focal point within a design. This can be done using size, color, contrast, or other design elements to draw the viewers. You can mark that viewer's eye to a particular area. So if you are making a design, there is that one thing in your design that has to draw people to your design. There should be that one thing in your design that has to draw them to your design. This is this thing that will make them look at over and over the design again. There should be a focal point. All your elements in design should not have the same feel. There should be one that has a size that people can easily say, okay, this is the main thing this design is talking about. For example, you are trying to create a design for a body product a body product, and they gave you the picture of the product, they gave you all the details they want you to have, they want you to put on the design. And because you didn't understand emphasis, you now went and make the product smaller. You now went and because I don't want I want to make the text bigger. In that design, the focal point, what they want to sell is the product, not the text. If that product draws their attention, they will definitely see those tests. That's one thing some designers don't take note of. If they give emphasis to things that they are not supposed to give emphasis to, the main thing the main thing that you want people to see first is what should have the most emphasis, is what you should give the most emphasis to in your design. So in this sense, the body product, the cream or whatsoever product is what you will make bigger in your design. So when people see it, okay, what is this? They can, okay, this is a product. Okay, they can easily see, okay, this product help you increase your hair. This product help you get lighter. This clinical they can easily see all those. Sometimes even the logo of a brand is not the most important thing in a design. Note that in sometimes the logo of a brand is not the important thing. What they are selling, what they want to sell is the most important thing in a design. Do you get? So that thing is what you will give emphasis to. If you are creating a design for an event, what should be the most important thing for that event? If that event is having an artist that is coming, what should bring the most important thing is the picture of the artist, not any other thing, because the picture of the artist will draw audience to the event, or the title of the event in whatever cases. But there are some exceptional cases whereby some things has to be more will be given emphasis to than the other. So this is what emphasis is all about. I believe we are getting this. I believe we we are getting this. So we move to the next principle, which is proportion. Proportion. So the next principle is proportion. So proportion refers to the relationship between elements in design by creating an harmonious relationship between the size and placement of elements. Designers can achieve a sense of balance and order. Do you get? So you can if you can sum up everything we've been talking about since morning. Everything we're talking about since morning is what? Relationship between the elements in of a design. So design principles are what you use to bring all these elements we mentioned earlier. Is what you use to create relationship between them. Design principles are what you use to create relationship between your text, your color, your shapes, and your texture. Please note these things. Design principles are like the tools you use to create relationship between these things, between the color, text, shapes, and texture. So proportion two is like I made mention earlier about the human body. The human body is created in a way that every part is in the right proportion to the other. Imagine the head is bigger than the way it should be. Imagine what human being will look like. Imagine the leg is bigger than the way it should, is bigger than the way it is now, the way God created it to be. Imagine what you will have. That will not be human being again, that will be something else. So proportion is very important to the extent that when God was creating human being, when God was bringing all those things to place, God used proportion. God bring everything in the right proportion. And most times I consider design like I'm cooking. Like, see, I like food. I I if you want a plot of my art, just give me food. If you want a plot in my art, just give me food. I like food. So I consider design to cooking. Hmm? To cooking. Good food, I mean good food though. I consider design to cook. So hey, sorry, I've jumped. I consider design to cooking. Like if you are cooking, if somebody mention of amala, we're done. If you are cooking, if you are cooking, you there is a proportion of salt you have to eat. If you are there is a proportion of all the seasoning you have to eat. Assuming just assuming you are cooking, for example, now jollof rice, for example. All the seasoning has a proportion they should be if you want to achieve jollof rice. Or for example, let me use baking for example. Cake, for example. I think I've had an experience working with people that make cake sometimes back. If you over apply butter or you over mix the mixture, what you will get at the end of the day will not be cake. It might look like cake, but it will not be what? It will not be cake. So in the same case with design, all these elements must be in their right proportion. How do you know the proportion they will be? All these things are the work of the eye and the senses. It's just like training your senses to adapt to this way, training your enough. In sometimes in design too, it's not like you have a strict measurement of how you apply your element. No, it's just like working with your senses, working, okay, this thing should be okay. And how can you develop that sense? Is by looking, I will mention it over and over again, looking at what other people are doing. Have a mentor in design. Have tell me that somebody you look up to in design. Okay, this person I'm looking, and you can have as much as possible. I have people I look at their job. I have people I learn from. I have people I get advice from. Let me tell you a short story. There was a time when I was starting up as a designer. Yeah, I used to work. After I'm done with the work, I send it to that my mentor. Okay, I say he looks at it. Okay, you correct me. Do this, do that, do this, that, do that. There was a day I sent a design to one other mentor like that too, and this mentor said, Riwan, hope you did not charge for this work. I said, why? Because he said because it is unfair for you to collect money for this work. You can see how funny that is. He said it is very unfair for me to have charged for this because that work was so bad. And that word hit me and I felt down, but then that word propelled me to learn more and to learn how to create better designs. And that person, somebody I respect today because he spoke to me sincerely. Yeah, it pains me that time, but then that word was what I needed that time. It was a sincere word I needed. So as a designer too, you have to have somebody you look up to that you can okay, boss, chairman, how do I do? How can you help me look at this work? How and that person, if it's somebody that is very sincere, because most people don't like sincerity. Most people want you to hype their work. They will say, okay, boss, help me look at it. Some people are not saying that job. There is somebody I follow, told her, I said, some designer do not send job to you to critique. They send it to you so that you can hype them, which is very bad. Don't send your job to people to hype. Send it to them, to designers, so not any ordinary people. Don't give a job to somebody that is not into design to help you critique. They will say nonsense because they don't know the principles, they don't know how the element relate. Give it to somebody that know about design. That person should be sincere. Tell the person that please be sincere. If that thing will pain you, let it pain you because that thing is what will help you grow as a designer. Unless if you don't want to work as a designer. But if you want to work as a designer, you have to learn to take hard words. I said it on Saturday. You have to learn to be emotionally stable as a designer because there are a lot of times that um you have critique from your clients that are so bad that you won't be able to take them. You have critique from so many people. You will spend a lot of time that you'll be tired, you'll be exhausted. So if you are not stable emotionally, you might break down. So I think I've been doing a recap of what we did on Saturday. You can get the video on the group. The video is on the Telegram platform, so you can get it and listen to it over again. So that's what proportion is. I think you understand what proportion is. Proportion. If you want to understand proportion, just look at the woman body. How is look at the left hand and the right hand. Is it bigger than the other? No, it is in the right proportion. That makes us move freely. That makes us do things easily. And that in the case of design too, if your design are not in right proportion, your design will not be free. If you are in the group and you saw the design I shared in the morning, my first design in the morning, if you are in the group, you can see how visually disturbing that design is. You can see how visually disturbing that design is because there are a lot of colors here and there. Everything was I just overdid everything that time because I did not know anything. I am not exposed to these principles. So let's go to the next principle, which is unity. So I want you to understand that the main reason we are learning all these principles is just to learn how to curate the right relationship with our elements. That's the main reason why we are learning all these principles. Don't be boring. We've not started some people aim is just that we should go into the software and start designing. No. If you want to become a doctor, you have to first be in class first, learn about how the human body works. Then you go to the theater and see the part of the body and all those things. That's how life should look like. Learn the basic first before you learn the advanced one. If you try to learn the advanced one and learn the basic, your growth will not be progressional. Your growth will be thwarted as a designer, and you don't want to have that. I that was how mine started, but fortunately for me, I met people that were able to mentor me early. I've not gone so far. I've not shackled. I've not gone so far before I begin to see people that mentor me. This is how you do things, and be open to mentorship. When people tell you that this thing is, when people that have been in the industry tell you that this is how this thing should look like, try to listen. Don't don't outrightly disagree with them. Try to listen, hear what they want to say. That might be something that will help you in your next design. Do you get? There are some people though that are very bad in critiquing people's job. They are very bad. They don't see anything good in what you do. Be be so sensitive to know those type of people. Do you get? But then, and be right to know people that are very sincere when they are critiquing your work. Somebody like me, I will be sincere anytime I'm critiquing your work. But anytime I notice that you are this person that want me to hype your work, and me too, I might definitely not help you go because, or I will not attend to you because it won't help me. There won't be any good for me to just hype nonsense. If you are doing nonsense and I'm hyping it, I'm just destroying your career as a designer. So that's just it. So the next thing is unity. What is unity? Unity involves creating a cohesive design. What is cohesive? Cohesive is bringing things together, bringing things in relationship together, like bonding things together. So creating a bonding design. A bonding design is a design that all the elements they come together, they can relate. One is not more than the other by using similar colors, shapes, and texture throughout. This helps to create a sense of harmony and make design feel complete. So if anybody notice in all the promotional flyers for design for designers, you will notice a consistency in the design. Like you will notice a consistency. There is a color pattern, there is a texture pattern, there is a font pattern. Everything is so I'm not just choosing anything. Today I use this and use that. No. There has to be unity in your work as a designer. In any project you are doing. That doesn't mean you are working for brand brand A. If you are working for brand A, make sure that the colors you are working with for brand A is consistent. Make sure that their texture is consistent. That will help their design feel okay. That will help their work feel right to their audience, or their audience will be able to know that, okay, this is brand A design. They will be able to have a sense of identity with their audience. Remember, you are creating designs to communicate to some particular audiences. Do you get? So that's unity. You have to, in across your design, don't this has to talk about your typography in colors. If you are using a color in design, you should not use more than three colors like in design. Like it is now much three colors in design. That will help you create the right unity. And for your text too, for your font, you should not use more than 2 to 3 fonts in a design. Like it is now plenty. Use 3 fonts. Do you get? Use 3 font and your shapes too. Let your shape be consistent. If you are using a rounded shape, make sure you use a rounded shape completely. If you are using a sharp, I will let you know how these things work as we go in the practicals. If you are using a sharp edge shape, make sure that sharp edge shape is what you are using throughout the design. Do you get? So that will help you create unity. Your work can come out as one. Your work can that unity means one. So if all these things are not balanced, your work will just look like they are split all around. You see that the text goes like this, the color go like this. It's just like cooking an egusi that has water. Everything just split. That has too much water. Everything just go on their own. But if you are eating an egusi that is complete, that has all these things inside, everything come out. It's just like that's how God created the egusi. Just like that's everything come together as one. Do you get? That's how design should look like. It should not be like the Maggi is here, the melon is here, the salt is there, the water is there. Your design must come out as one. You must be able to see a central idea in your design. You must be able to see a focal point in your design. You must be able to see, okay, this is what this person is trying to communicate with this design. I hope you get me. If you are with me, kindly press 555 on the chat box so I know that you are with me. 555 on the chat box. 555 on the chat box if you are with me. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. You see, we are more than 200 in that platform. And you see, we are having less than 25 people here. So it just shows the side the side people put to things that they want to know. Next time now, you ask them, why is it that your design is like this? They say, because there's an opportunity for them to learn now. They will not learn. See, any opportunity you have to learn, please just take it serious. Take it serious. Just take it serious, please. Any opportunity you have to learn, take it serious. I know we some people are here, they are business owners, they just want to learn to make designs for their businesses, which is fine. That's not bad. There are some people here that are designers before, they just want to learn about. I know people here that are designers that do better designs, but I don't know why they are here. But then I know I know people I know people oh sorry. I know people that are starters in design that they did not know anything about designs, but they are here. So everybody should just please try to accommodate things, especially when the things are free. Free things are things that you can take as much as you want. Nobody will challenge you. Do you get? So it's not like we don't need money. That's why we are doing free classes. No, I know people that can pay for these classes in this online now. I know people that can pay for these classes, but then we still decided to make this free. Please encourage us by attending. Tell people if you know anybody that is not online tonight, please tell them to make sure they are online for the next class. Please, it is very important. Please, it's important. So we move to the next principle, which is repetition. Repetition. Um, everybody will understand. We know that if you are repeating something over time, if you are repeating a thing over time, that thing sink better. That thing you absorb that thing better anytime you are repeating. When if you are let's assuming you are singing a particular song over time, you know it better. Or let's assume somebody is singing a particular song in your house or in your apartment and that person uses loudspeaker and this person plays the same song every morning. Unconsciously, you will know the lyrics of that song because that person has repeatedly played the song. That person has repeatedly um influence you with the sound of that song. So it's the same thing in design. Repetition involves using similar design elements throughout a design to create a sense of consistency and unity. So anytime you are working as a designer, make sure your designs carry this consistent feel. Let's assuming you are working with flat icons. You might not know what flat icons, so you can write it down and browse it. Let's assume you are using icons throughout your design. Make sure at every point in time that you'll be using any icon in your design, make sure those icons are flat icons. But let's assume you want to use 3D icons. Make sure that anytime, at any point in time in your design that you are using icons, make sure that the icon is what is 3D. This will help consistency and this will help create unity in your design. This will let your design come out as one. Do you get? This will help your design come out as a single design. Oh, thank you so much. Bolu just send in the 5 magazines I talked to you about. Yeah, yeah, the 5 magazines I talked to you about. By the grace of God, I worked on all these magazines. Yeah. So if you came late, you might not actually get the gist. But thank you, Bolu. So repetition. So using similar design elements across your design. So that if you are using a particular let's assume you are using a particular text, a particular font font size for a particular point in your design, make sure you use that font type consistently across your design. If you I said earlier that if you are working with fonts, make sure you are not using more than 3 fonts at any particular time. Make sure you are not working more than because if you are working with more than 3 fonts, 4 or 5 fonts, it makes your work disturbing. It makes your work visually disturbing. If you can check the design I sent this morning, that design was so bad that somebody actually told me that if she find it difficult to do that, what was written was real one. If you can see that was my first design. Anyways, I can't, God forbid, I can't make that design. None of you self here self can make that type of design. If I'm the one taking this class and if you are consistent in learning, you can't make that type of design as a first design because you've learned about the principles, learned about the elements, learned about how these things work. So that's repetition. So the next thing is what we call white space. White space. So white space is also known as a negative space. White space is the area between and around elements in a design. Proper use of white space can help create sense of balance and improve readability. Know that the main reason why you are creating a design is that people can see your design, they can read it, and they can understand the reason why that design is made in the first place. So that's why white space are just like the space around your design. So when you are making design, you are not just making design to make everything clumsy. The picture is clumsy with the desk is clumsy with no. There has to be right spaces, right yeah, there has to be space around your design. Do you get? There has to be space around your design, around your elements, so that there can be a sense of balance and people can easily see what you are communicating. Do you get? They can easily see what you are communicating. So that's the reason why white spaces is very important. You have to learn to, as you work, these things are things that as you work, you begin to adapt them naturally. The more you practice, the more you work, the more you design, you begin to adapt them and be ready to take feedbacks. I'm someone that I did not play with feedbacks. I might not publicly post my feedbacks, but I don't play with feedbacks. I want to hear, okay, what do you feel about my design? What do you feel I can do better about my I might not ask my clients, what do you feel I can do better? There's a way I will ask them that one. But for my mentors or for some people that are bigger than me in the design industry, okay, what do you think I can do better? What do you think I can do better in my next design? Yeah, I take those feedbacks seriously because those are the things that help me become a better designer. So the next principle is, okay, we are done with the principles. And one of the principles I would like you to go and check out for is alignment and hierarchy. Alignment and hierarchy. Though we've we've actually we've unconsciously talked about them throughout when we're talking about balance and other things and proportion but then check about alignment and hierarchy. They are very, very important. So now we've done two out of four, we've done three things out of the five things we are supposed to do tonight. So this is the third one. So our time is fast spent. So for as many that are not in the class when we started, so I said I will not be spoon feeding us throughout the whole class. Yes, we are supposed to learn five things tonight, but we've done three. So, but I will give us basically color theory and the typography, basically just basic thing. I did not even have the slide for the typography here. So this is the last slide this is the last slide for tonight. So you can see that I'm very, very, very hard on you getting to know these things. So I will send some materials that can help you so that you don't just gamble online and be looking for materials all around. I will send a link to the group that you can just go and learn about color theory and the likes, do you get, and everything and I think I will find some that I have for typography, I will send them. So for color theory, anytime you heard about color theory is just basically the study of how colors relate to each other. You know, colors is light and colors are things that they give life to our designs. You understand? And you have to understand how they relate. We have two different type of color scheme. We have the CMYK, we have the RGB. And we have from our primary school knowledge of colors, we have the primary colors and we have the secondary colors. There are color terms which are brightness, hue, saturation, and the likes. So I want you to go and learn about all these things. I will send I will send the link to the group so that you won't have an excuse of not reading it before tomorrow's class. The thing is, we are not removing anybody from this platform. I'm not threatening. I hate threatening that, okay, if you do not submit assignment, we will remove you. Unless you did something that is out of line, then we can excuse you from the platform. But then, if you fail to do the assignment, there is no penalty for it. But then, if you do the assignment, you learn, you become better you become better in a particular area. You know what you don't know before. You get every class we have an assignment. Every class there will be an assignment. And so I promise those that are using phone that there is a colleague of mine that actually did a class on phone design. So I will send his material to the group so that you guys can check it out. You guys can work with us as we are working here too. You can learn how the laptop or how the computer software works any the time you get your own device. I pray that the Lord provide for as many that are willing to get their own devices in Jesus' name. So that's color theory and typography. Basically, typography is just talking about text. Anytime you hear about the typography, just talking about how text work. And there are different type of typography. Different type of typography. We have the serif, we have the sans serif, and we have the script. Basically three. There are other subs like they are under them, but the basic ones are the three: the serif, sans serif, and script. So basically those are the three colors. So now I'll be open to questions. So kindly type your questions. If there are questions, kindly type your questions on the inside the chat box so that I can read them out. And if you think you can only express yourself better with voice or with just raise up your hand, like just put an emoji, raise up your hand in the chat box, then we can I will call your name, then you can speak. So kindly type in your questions so we can get started with the questions and we end the class for tonight. I believe you enjoyed the tonight class. If you enjoyed tonight class, just let me know in the chat box. If you enjoyed tonight class, let me know with anything in the class. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know, please. Yeah, thank you so much. So the questions can start coming in. The question can start coming in. You see, my network was so nice tonight, so there is no from my end. So I think the recording should be smooth for people to hear. But I don't know when the recording will be out. Uh, but let me have the questions. Would we have access to the slides? I think I will. I should make. I should give access to the slides. During the course of the class. I think I should. I should. I should. I should. I should. So the former slides for the first class, I think I will use all the slides so that we can easily get the the focal point, what we need to know. Because I don't want to bug us with much details, you get, so that we don't get bored. Hmm? So that you don't get bored. So that's that. So that's that. Yeah. So thank you so much for the feedbacks. Like there are things that really make me happy, you know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I believe by God's grace, we are going to enjoy the rest of the class more than this by God's grace. By God's grace. Like today, I have to go my way to because my slides were not ready as at this morning. I have to go my way to because the light in my place is not that good. So I have to go my way to go to a workspace because my workspace was not open today. So I have to go to another workspace and work to get these things done. So, but then that's for the better. So, okay, let's for me blessing. You can ask your question, please. So you can ask your question. So we have other questions, please. You can drop your questions, and so you can drop your questions. You can drop your questions. You can drop your questions. Oh, okay. Is there a law that guides choosing of font while designing? Okay. It's not a law per se. It's not like there is a law that says, oh, you have to these are what you have to do. These are no, it is not rigid. It is not rigid. So these are just what guides you when if you want to choose a font for a design. One, check your audience. Who are the people your design is going to reach? Who are those that are likely to get access to your design? Like who are your design meant for? Check your audience. The second one, check the content, where the content of your design will determine the audience the design is meant for. It doesn't mean you are working on a children design. Let's say children's day. There is a way you are going to work on. You are going to choose your font in a way that the font is a playful font because it is meant for children. So your content and your audience determines the choice of your font. I think I answered your question. This one, please. So is there any other question before we call it a day? Hmm? Is there any other question before we end the class tonight? Yeah. Okay, since we don't have any other question, then please let me repeat again. Sorry, I'm eating something. I have not eaten. Mm, mm. Since there are no questions, so let me repeat our assignment. Make sure you read about color theory. I will send a link to the group about color theory. Make sure you read about typography in design, in graphic design, typography in graphic design. So those two things are our assignment, and I will be expecting that you give a feedback on the group. Like, okay, this is what I learned about color theory. These are the new terms I learned. These are the things I learned. These are how it can make my work better and all those things. Do you get color theory and typography? Thank you for writing that out. Color theory and typography. Please make sure you we learn about those things. So I think we've come to the end of tonight's class. Normally our class also be 2 hours, 2 hours straight, but we spent 1 hour 34 minutes. So I think we are good to go. So thank you guys for showing up tonight. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys a lot for showing up tonight. So so just remember that the gain what I'm gaining from this class is that you are flowing along and you are doing the assignment and you are practicing what you are doing. That's what I gain, and I'm seeing you do things in the coming days, doing amazing designs in the coming days. That's my gain, that's my joy. Please, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tonight. And I for another aspect of design. Thank you so much. Peace.